All right, everyone, as you can see, I'm inside the Polygon Golf Swing Trainer. We already know, for those of you that don't, when we get set up, you've heard me, and I've even done a video on it, 60-degree relationship to the ground. And that means that my spine, more or less, from here, is going to match up to those angles. I feel very balanced. My weight's not forward. My weight's not all the way back. Balance means centered, right? So I'm right here. I'm centered. I can feel some stuff on my ball joints. I can feel it in my heels, but I definitely don't feel it on my toes. This 30-degree forward from vertical equals a 60-degree relationship to the ground with this part of my spine on the inside is what we're trying to accomplish. So then from here, you might be saying, okay, what's so special about the Polygon Golf Swing Trainer? Well, right now, this angle is set at a 30-degree relationship to the ground. If my spine is at 60 degrees, the path and pattern that I need to be working on with the body is going to be a 30-degree relationship to the ground. It's that simple. So now I've got 60 in the body, 30 with the path that I'm working on, and it's going to make a lot of sense. Why? Because the math is correct. The math is correct. 45 and 90-degree angles, that's what everybody talks about, right? But everybody says, let's make this push off the left and make this lateral move to the right. Now that's correct in some sense of the way that the brain interprets stuff. So we know we've got to move the left side to get to the right, but a lot of people just move the right side and don't push off of the left. But this is not a lateral movement where a lot of people think of. Sure, it can work. How's it worked out for you so far? Ask yourself that. If you're doing all these bump moves and all these different things and this lateral movement and these force plates up and down vertically and trying to, figure things out, how's that worked out for you so far? Have you gotten better? Are you shooting par and under? Are you shooting under 80? I don't know. If that's you, you really need to pay attention to what I'm saying, because I'm going to show you verbatim how it works. How it should work would be a better way to say it. So when I'm set up in my posture, I'm right here. I know that I've got a 60-degree relationship to the ground. I know that my body is going to work on a 30-degree relationship to the ground, which keeps me in that 90-degree relationship. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to pressure this left foot. So what that means is the back of my shoulder blade, because most people think it's everything that happens on this 180 degrees in front of us. They can't see the sides and the back of the golf swing. Well, as we've learned, at this point and this point connected right back here and made a point, this would be a 90-degree angle. Same thing for what's in front. These angle changes are at 45-degree angles. So just let me put that there so you can see it. I mean, it's clearly evident. So that would be like this, 45 degrees. So these angle changes are 45 degrees coming into straight lines and making everything work. So now, to gain pressure, everybody's like, oh, you got to tap and you got to move and you got to bump and you got to move your butt, or you've got to bounce back and forth left and right, because we don't want to be stagnant. We don't want to be stagnant. But the ball is not moving. So we have to generate some sort of triggers or whatever to make things work. But this trigger is not a push off of the left and push to the right and try to turn around it, because as you can see, there is not one lateral line in this configuration. Now, when you get to you change the product to, how the hands are going to move, that's the way that they're seeing it. So they're seeing it like, follow that baseline, go to the top. And I'm going to explain that to you in very great detail. But right now we need to focus on what I'm doing. So all of a sudden, my left shoulder blade, what's behind me, is moving in the direction of L3. Okay? Now you've got to remember, you've got R3 over here, which that is a 90-degree angle behind me. So when I move in the direction of L3, I'm pressurizing the ground with my foot. It feels like my knee is slightly heading in the direction of the center of my foot, the third toe in the middle of my left foot. Now, it's not this stack and tilt stuff over here. It's not. It is pressure. Stay centered. And when I pressure that, the hip, right hip will move back. And it's not because I'm trying to do it. It's because when I pressure this way and allow the left shoulder blade to move in the direction of L3, I allow this pressure shift to move into the left foot, which creates an anchor. Then all of a sudden, I'm going to move watch my leg. It went this way. Now it's going this way in the direction of L2. And watch what happens when it goes in the direction of L2. I'm here, I pressurize it. Now it's gonna go into L2. See how my body turns more? Now I'm gonna let this left knee come in on L1. See how it comes in? Because the golf swing is this. It is angular changes in 3D space, or the spatial awareness that people talk about. So the spatial awareness is they know it's got to turn somewhere, but if they move to the right and try to turn to the right, it ain't going to work. It's going to work. It's just not efficient. And 9 times out of 10, if I move to the right, turn to the right, I pick my hands up really high, which if you've seen the painted glass video that I did, the second my hands get here, because the plane moves infinitely in 2 different directions, then as soon as I let my hands come up, smash, it's over. As far as the ideology that Ben Hogan had to help golf instruction evolve. But if we move the body correctly and come around it, there's the plane of glass, here's my arm. Because when I learn to move correctly, it's just gonna work, period. So we've got to understand the geometry that they're explaining to you. I don't think a lot of people understand the geometry or the math, which is why we're here helping you really start understanding there is an absolute better way to do this. If I have to move this way, the right hip goes back. Here it is going down into L2, the right side is going to take care of itself. Now I am anchored at this point into the ground with my left foot. The weight is already in my heel. See how I'm picking up my toe? My left foot, it's a little more difficult to do that, but my body has shifted in such an efficient way because the left side is always moving the right side to get here, okay? Then as I start coming down, watch this here, I start moving down this way, I'm balanced, I've got pressure on both of my feet right now, but it's being governed by the movement of the right side. So now I've got this squatted feeling. Look at my hips. They are tilted. They are not spinning out. They are, because I'm moving everything in this R3 direction inside of my feet. I'm not going out here. I'm staying right here, tracking what I can see visually. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, that works. Wow, that really works. I've never been there before. Then I'm going to push, because again, you'll feel it all by yourself. Once you go like this, you're like, okay, how do I get this additional? So it's pushing back this way while this side is driving down here. Look how these symmetrically match up to each other. So now I've got opposing forces in 2 different directions, pushing back, which is this backing up move. And then voila, I will get my hips turned every single time. The math is flawless. Your brain understands it. We're all capable of seeing straight lines. Mike Malaska talks about it, straight line forces. You can't see the golf swing. I've been teaching for 50 years and the golf swing's invisible, and right. Those statements by Mike Malaska are extremely true. But when you can start seeing the straight lines, your brain can start identify them as long as you're moving the correct side of your body. Now it's coming this way. Most people will never have the courage to go this way. They will always elongate the circle and try to do something else. But watch this. Levers move up and down. If this is something I'm trying to move with the lever, I'm going to push up and down. So all of a sudden, what are we really doing? We are levering, because again, you might say, well, Chris, that's kind of rounded. If you look from it back here and I go like this, that lever is moving. If this is up, this is down. If this is up, this is down on the right side. If this is up at this angle, this would be down, up and down. So all of a sudden, our lever system is working. Now we know we got to go that way and this way. So if this is up, this is down. If this is up, this is down. Same thing on the right side. So I've levered again. Now, if this is up, this is down. If this is up, this is down. So now I'm going to lever down here. Now I'm right there. Now all I've got to do is have enough courage to turn the wheel this way instead of all this crap. Because once you understand the path of the body, you are putting yourself in these straight line levered positions throughout the entire backswing. Then in the downswing, the body is going to put itself in these levered positions again. So you'll feel the pressure shifts inside of your feet. And this stuff happens so fast that you come right through and you're going to hit the best shot of your life. But you have to understand how the body actually moves. And because of that, because we have a guide, this is not based on, hey, this is how DJ hits it, or this is what Jason Day did, or this is what Rory's did. This has nothing to do with that. It has to do with math. Those guys on TV have been taught a certain way to do it, which is the modern teaching. Get the hips stuck, let the club swing by. Come up with injuries. It's part of the game. Most of the guys on tour, and the women too, they deal with injuries because the movements that they're making are extremely concussive on the body. But you are no different than me. I mean, if you're a female, I've already discussed that. They can give birth, so things are different. But their levers work the exact same way. A woman's arm doesn't bend in this bizarre way because she's a woman. It's the same muscle structure and operational structure of how our arms move, of how our levers work, of why all this stuff can be the same. But everybody's like, oh, you don't want to have the same swing. There's nobody that has the same swing. We're all different. We all move different. I could weigh more than somebody else. I'm a little overweight. I come right here. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get it down. All the pandemic stuff caused me to gain a little bit of weight. But the truth is, all that is a lie. Or it's a misunderstanding. Because I could be 6'9", weigh 300 pounds, 400 pounds, and just because I have extra weight does not mean I can't do this. Every single one of us can do this. It doesn't have to do with flexibility. It doesn't have to do with anything. I'm not trying to get all this weight over and get this weight here and then bump back this way and go here. That some people can't do it. You're not going to get turned enough. Of course you're not, because your body is always seeking balance. But if we all start learning, this is how the body can move, and then start coming to where I've got these good angles. I'm posted up, but I'm not posted up this way where the leg is locked out. I'm continuing to move around this. So a lot of us might say, well, George Gankis has got his guys doing that kind of move. But when you start understanding what's going to happen, I've got that same move. It's just a lot more not forced. Forcing this move causes all kinds of problems. But when you just follow the geometry, because this side is now moving up the left side while the right side is forcing it to go there, you're going to get all these really cool load, and there's the squat, look like Sam Snead. But when I'm doing this, because the left knee went there, so now all of a sudden I've got to put it back, and back being over the foot. So then from here, we're going in reverse. There it is. Now I got to go back on L3, and I'm pushing back and away. So I get this post right here before I've even hit the ball. Just the way it is, guys. It is math. It is all based on math. The body's at 60. The plane we're working on is 30. And when we tie the arms into all this stuff, it's going to blow your mind. Blow your mind, because there truly is a way, by understanding geometry and understanding the math. And there's even a way I'm going to show it in a future video that's really going to make you go, wow, because it's the truth. These angles are inside of the circle. When you can start working from the inside out instead of the outside in, you are going to start feeling confident. You're going to start feeling reassured. You are going to start feeling so many things that it's absolutely going to blow your mind, because the body is extremely capable of creating these ground forces and forces into the ground. Where it gets difficult is when I start moving laterally, because it doesn't match up to the geometry that the body must move on. These moves can match up to the path that the club is working on, but when you understand a couple of different things that I'm going to show you, that is going to be dispelled very, very quickly. Because the reality is, guys, we can all get better. I've been teaching for 28 years. And during that time, in the beginning, it was, I'm like everybody else. I had to learn how to play the game. I had to learn how to do these things. And a lot of my motions sucked. They were terrible. You'd be like, wow, that's not good. And, but because I've already given a video about how we do these moves and go to the top and all this crap they want us to do, we all become ball striking geniuses because somehow we make contact with the ball. But somehow making contact with the ball, having it fly all over the place, is not really how to enjoy the game that much. We've got to start understanding there is math, and there are reasons beyond reasons, because if I move the left side down L3, the right side is starting to move up R3, but it's getting parallel, really, to R1. So if the back side is moving down L3, the chest is now into R1. Now I'm going to move into L2. Everything starts moving back and into the heel of the right foot without me trying to do it. And if I was on a pressure plate machine right now and I do this correctly, the forces that you are going to see are going to blow your mind, because it's like a tree trunk, an oak tree. I am rooted into the ground. So all of a sudden, I made that additional move by letting this left knee move down, because it went like this. Now when it's moving down, all this is moving back. So the symmetrical approach to what we're taking is what it has got to be. But I am so balanced and I am so rooted and connected to the ground. So now I've just got to change those directions. Look at that. I'm still got pressure. There's tilt, but I'm not trying to stack and tilt, because that is not it. It is learn to move and coil around your center. So if I had a club in my hand, it's going to look like that. And then all of a sudden I'm going to lever. I'm not getting outside my feet. Look at my lines. And we're talking about the lines from the armpit where the arm goes, right? So all of a sudden I'm not going here, getting outside or extending or whatever. It's okay to extend and get these forces to come down. Yeah, the way they're teaching you that might be right. But to stay in this 90-degree relationship with the 30 and the 30 of the path and the 60 of the body, I'm not lifting up. I am truly moving around my body. And because of that, my connections to the ground are good. Now I'm going to move around my body again, experiencing the lever system. I am inside of my feet. Seriously, look at me. Here you go, inside of my feet. There you go, inside of my feet. So now I'm going to keep moving. Look at this. I'm inside of my feet. And then now I've got this driving force through the ball to be able to come up and extend. So again, if you really want to start taking your game to a different level, understand there are two different patterns. One for the body and one for the path of the club. And the next video that we're going to talk about, we're going to discuss and show you the path of the club. Take care, everybody. If you haven't subscribed yet, this channel is going to open your mind and allow you to start realizing there is a better way. It's not based off the movements of men and women that we have looked at through the years. It is based on the correct model, which is the geometry that surrounds the body in three-dimensional space. So again, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Hey, if you don't want to, it's no big deal. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Again, my name is Christopher Hudson. We'll see you soon.